There ain't no place like home, they say.
Welcome back to the State Traditions Podcast, where we discuss and celebrate everything that makes America unique. We've got a big episode planned today because we have a weekend ahead of us that cover two pretty big American traditions.
Huge.
One is the Kentucky Derby.
Yep.
And the other actually falls on the same day, May 5th, is Cinco de Mayo, which is a holiday, a non-holiday holiday that Americans celebrate, the Mexican heritage.
Yep.
So we have a special guest today, Mary Martin Messer.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Great. My name is Mary Martin. I'm born and raised in Birmingham. I've been with State Traditions for, it's actually 18 months today. I just realized that. Yes, May 2nd. 18 months at State Traditions.
Year and a half.
Big deal. Kind of feels like it's only been a few weeks.
Time flies.
It's weird. Time does
Time flies. A lot has happened in 18 months.
A lot has happened. So I oversee all of our wholesale sales, and I also oversee some of our product sourcing. So as a customer, if you order a polo or a woven or anything on the website that has an embroidery on it, I oversee the production of that item.
And speaking of the last 18 months, when you came on at State Traditions, you were a single woman, and since then you have gotten engaged and have a big event coming up.
Big event, yes.
And we actually, that may parlay into part of our later
Definitely.
podcast topic, so we'll touch on that a little bit.
Perfect.
Further
Exciting
down the show.
things ahead.
So before we get too deep into the episode, we'd like to take a break and do a podcast promo.
Sure.
Why don't you do that for us?
Yeah, we just want to take a second. We're still running with our discount code on the website, STPOD or STPOD, for 35% off any item, sale or non-sale. And I would take this.
If you catch a sale item at 35% off, it may as well be free.
May as well. We're paying you to take it. Yeah, but I would take this as an opportunity to check out our new Patriot items specifically. Those are my favorite thing we're offering this season. Our signature items have, the state flag inside the shape of the state.
Right.
But our Patriot items have the American flag inside the shape of the state, which is just a great item going into Memorial Day and Flag Day and July 4th and
Absolutely.
all the Americana spirit of the summer.
So again, that was STPOD.
STPOD, 35% off.
35% off at statetraditions.com.
Yep.
All right, well, let's talk about our first topic here. Let's talk Kentucky Derby.
Kentucky Derby.
It's held this weekend, this Saturday, May 5th, in Louisville, Kentucky, at Churchill Downs.
Churchill Downs, yeah. And it's the 143rd Derby.
I mean, that is, if that's not a tradition, American tradition, I don't know what
Yeah,
is.
that's pretty tried and true at this point.
It is, I think, got over $1 million purse. So the winning horse, jockey, team, owner, etc. There's $1 million on the line for the horse that takes the cake.
Wow.
They often call it the Run for Roses because the winner gets a blanket of roses draped over the horse after they cross the finish line. And I believe I read somewhere that it was made up of 554 individual roses woven together.
Wow, into the blanket.
Into the blanket.
That's a tradition.
So this is an exciting event.
Yep.
And, there's a lot of races leading up to the main race, but these races, they don't last very long.
No, don't last long. And some have said that the final race is the most exciting 2 minutes in sports.
I think, that could be argued.
But I will say this. Let me jump in. Something you should know about me is I'm a big Auburn fan, and I'm outnumbered here at the office, which is fine. But I see your 2 minutes in Kentucky Derby racing, and I raise you the final second of the 2013 Iron Bowl. I just think that's a little more exciting.
That was
I don't know.
the second that went down in history.
Got to take my opportunities
in the
to
state
rub
of
that one in.
Alabama.
Yeah.
For sure. Being an Alabama fan, I was on the other side of that, and that was the longest 1 second.
The longest second of your life.
It was a long
You'd
second.
much rather watch 2 minutes of horse
It
racing.
worked out much better for you as the Auburn fan.
I'll agree with that.
So all right, so that's the debate. The most exciting 2 minutes in sports versus the most exciting 1 second
Yep.
in sports. Well, let's move on to some Derby traditions. Since we're talking about traditions, and this is probably one of the oldest that we've touched on since we've started our podcast, 143 years running. What are some of the traditions that we will see this weekend at Churchill Downs?
Yeah. I will say, I don't know a ton about the Kentucky Derby, but what I do know is what to wear and what to drink.
Yes.
So I know, if you're going to go to the Kentucky Derby, you need a big hat, a huge hat, like an
Huge.
obnoxiously big hat
Absolutely.
that you would never wear anywhere else because you would be made fun of. And the pastels, the super nice dresses,
Yes.
just classy as can be.
Seersucker all the way.
Seersucker for sure, some Lily Pulitzer.
Now, there's different dress codes, and there's two locations where you can watch the Derby. You have your infield area, and then you have your Millionaire's Row area. Millionaire's Row is made up more of the horse owners and their contingencies.
Maybe a little classier.
A little bit classier, higher on the hog, if you will. And then you have the infield, which is where you probably will find a lot of the seersucker and the loud pinks and yellows and greens, and probably a little bit more debauchery going on in the infield. Classy, of course, preppy.
Classy debauchery.
But yeah, I think if I were going to the Derby, which I've never been before, the infield might be the way to start.
I
You
think
start
so.
there and you work your way to the Millionaire's
I think
Row.
so. It might feel a little out of place going to Millionaire's Row right off.
Sure.
But one day when we're sitting on our, hundreds of millions of dollars, we can go
That's
to the
right.
Millionaire's Row and feel right at home.
Absolutely. So you mentioned the cocktails.
Yes.
So what do you drink at the Kentucky Derby?
Mint julep. I can
mint
tell you that. Yes.
julep.
And so you're going to have bourbon, huge Kentucky liquor, obviously. So
Sure.
you've got to include that in the drink. You've got bourbon, simple syrup, mint, crushed ice, and then it's not complete unless it's in a silver cup. So
Sounds
these would
delicious.
not do.
No.
But a silver cup is
No.
is your
These State
cup for
Traditions
sure.
plastic cups are available on the website if you need any for your Derby celebration this weekend.
True.
So we've never been to the Derby, either of us. Do you have any horse racing experience? Have you ever been to a race?
None whatsoever.
None.
None. But I will say every year I do pick a horse.
Okay.
Every year.
Well, I've been to a few races, and I'm by no means an expert in horse racing. But I've been to the Keeneland track a number of times. State Traditions is partnered with Keeneland, and we come out with co-branded apparel and enjoy the two seasons. They have two race seasons. There's a spring season and fall season. And we've been up there in the fall, and the weather's beautiful, and the horses are running, which is a lot of fun. And then the others are like the Nashville Steeplechase, which is a smaller circuit, and the Atlanta Steeplechase. And it's all fun, and everybody's racing, putting money on horses. You don't know what you're betting on, and people have different strategies behind that. Some is naming, and others actually look at the stats and try to back into who's going to be.
Well,
the
and
winner.
here's my question with that. When you are betting on the winner? Or are you betting on the top three? Like, how do you try to slide in there? Because I feel like if you're just betting on a certain horse to win and you've got all these horses to choose from, your odds are a little low.
Well, I believe you can bet any way you want to. Some people could bet on the loser. You could bet on the winner. You could do a trifecta box where you can pick the top three.
Okay.
You can bet on just about anything you can put your mind to. It's there. They'll accept your money, and most of the time the odds are against you.
Encouraging.
And that's why it's betting. So if you were to place a bet, who would you bet on? Who would your horse be in the running this year?
My horse this year, and I've just got to tell you, the way I choose my horse is by the name.
Absolutely.
I don't really get into the statistics because I also like the idea of the underdog winning. But my horse this year is my boy Jack. And it's truly because I just think that's a sweet little name.
That is a good name.
Yes.
And I
just
bet,
sounds like a good old boy.
based on his ranking, I believe my boy Jack comes in around number 13 in the
13.
rankings for this upcoming weekend,
Yes.
which would mean that he has better odds on winning more money. If he actually won, if you put a dollar bet down, you'd win more for your dollar than you would if he were higher in the rankings.
His odds right now are 30-1, which is pretty impressive.
pretty good.
After picking his name, I looked into his stats just a little bit, just to make sure I wasn't making a horrible decision.
Sure.
And he's actually potentially the dark horse, no pun intended, of the race, and has been quoted to potentially come in as high as second place, maybe. I'm going for first, but we'll see. So
you can trifecta that.
top 3
30
at
to 1.
least. Yeah,
You win
for
$30
sure.
for every dollar you put down. That'd be a good day.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go the other way
Okay.
as it relates to picking my horses.
Go by the stats.
And I've looked at some stats in the trainers, the breeds, and I'm going to just go with a trifecta pick. I did this for Dega and for the Masters, and it has not worked out well for me yet. But based on the stats, I'm going to go with Magnum Moon and his trainer's Pletcher, Todd Pletcher. He is ranked 1. His odds are much less than the 30 to 1, of course. Second would be Mendelssohn. Aidan O'Brien is his trainer. He's a European horse, but he's supposed to be one of the top 3 coming into Saturday's race. And then my third is Justify, named Justify. Bob Baffert is the trainer, and Justify actually has a 7-post position, and they are giving him an early 3 to 1 odds, I believe. So 3 to 1 versus 30 to 1. I think you make more money on my boy Jack.
Yeah.
But Justify, based on his ranking, might have a better chance of winning.
There you go. Did a little more homework than I did.
So
but
we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out.
Cool.
Nonetheless, I plan to be at a Kentucky Derby party,
Yep.
wearing my loud attire,
Sipping
drinking
some
it,
mint juleps.
some mint juleps
And a silver cup.
in a silver cup.
No solo cups this
No
weekend.
solos. No solos. You lose a part of the essence of your mint julep.
Yeah.
in a solo
You're making
cup.
it a little too Dega. Not enough Derby.
Absolutely. Well, before we break to our next segment, let's do another quick promo.
Yeah.
If you're heading to the Derby or going to a Derby party, check out statetraditions.com. You can get great neckties, bow ties. You can get some button-down shirts. We can get McDowell's, the Penningtons. We've got Tattersalls. We've got a lot of options, and you can pick those up at 35% off.
Yeah.
STPOD, 35% off. Check it out at statetraditions.com.
Yep.
So next topic falls on the same day, May 5th.
It's a great day.
Cinco de Mayo
Cinco de Mayo.
is what we're touching on. I'm not sure how long this tradition has been going on as an American celebration, but Cinco de Mayo started in 1862.
And it is not the Spanish Independence Day, right?
No, it is not. It is
Mexican.
not. It is not actually the Mexican Independence Day, like most people think. It is the celebration of the Mexican Army's unlikely victory over the French Army at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. But America has taken this, and it's become a day of celebration.
It's just become a margarita day.
Margaritas
Yeah.
and Mexican cuisine, etc. So that being said, I'm going out on a limb here, and based on, I guess, some of the upcoming events that you have on your calendar, I think this might be one of your favorite days.
This is up there. This is my summer Christmas, you could say. I love Cinco de Mayo. And my fiance and I are actually getting married in Mexico, in Cancun, 2 weeks after Cinco de Mayo. So
There'll be plenty of margaritas in Mexico.
plenty of margaritas to go around.
And so the wedding day itself it falls on the same day
Yep.
as the upcoming royal wedding.
Yep. We'll have the same anniversary as Meghan and Harry.
How about that?
Yeah, pretty big deal.
That is a big day. That's going to be
Yeah.
fun.
It's a good day all around for sure.
So Cinco de Mayo is a great excuse to go out, have margaritas,
Oh, yeah.
get some Mexican cuisine. That being said, what would you have to say your favorite margarita is? If you had to go get a margarita, where do you make it at home or go out
Such
somewhere?
a good question. I've got a few answers to that question.
Okay.
Last night, coincidentally, I had the best margarita of my life.
Really?
Of my entire life, yes.
Tell
I
us about
went
this.
to, it's a restaurant called 301 in Tuscaloosa, near the train and the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater.
Sure.
And it's kind of like a beer garden bistro, super swanky restaurant, really cool. And they had a cilantro margarita
Sounds
with like a
refreshing.
lime salt around the rim. It was the most refreshing. It kind of tasted like salsa with a little bit of tequila in it, but no tomatoes.
Yeah, it's hard to go wrong
It
with a
was
margarita
so
in general,
good.
but that
It was
sounds
just,
like a good margarita.
the perfect summer drink. It was more refreshing than water.
So you can't have a margarita without some Mexican cuisine.
No.
What is your favorite Mexican dish?
I've got to go with the quesadilla. Just load it up all the way.
Tried and true.
Yep.
Tried
Can't
and
mess
true.
it up. You've never had a bad quesadilla.
I lean more toward the fajita. You kind of get to make your own. You know, they bring it all out. And,
On the steaming plate.
Yeah, the steaming plate is sizzling. Maybe it's just because it excites more of your senses than.
Yeah, that's true.
But
It's an
so
experience.
if you had to pick a favorite Mexican restaurant,
Oh.
what would you have to?
Oh, man.
It can be Birmingham. It can be outside of the state of Alabama, as that's where we're based. But
I've got a couple answers to that as well.
sure.
If we're going casual Mexican, Taco Mama all the way. We've got a few locations here in Birmingham. They've got a jalapeno margarita there. Back to the margaritas.
And a skinny margarita.
And a
which is
skinny
great.
margarita, which, little less guilt with that one.
Right.
Quesadillas are incredible, but I've heard everything else there is good too. So Taco Mama's good. I also love a little bit of Tex-Mex with Chuy's.
Yes.
Might be my favorite restaurant overall right now. I go to Chuy's a little too much. Talking about margaritas though, they've also got a frozen strawberry margarita that I don't normally go for, but I always get at Chuy's. And in the summertime, you can swirl it with a white peach margarita. Who would have thought?
Why not?
Unbelievable.
Margaritas
So
are
good.
very versatile.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Cilantro, strawberry,
Cilantro,
peach.
jalapenos, peach, strawberry, whatever. Chuy's is great, but if you're wanting higher end Mexican, I also love Cocina Superior in Birmingham and also El Barrio.
El Barrio. Absolutely.
Yes.
It's downtown on the north side.
Yep, and El Barrio also has a jalapeno margarita.
Have to try those out. Now, if
Yeah.
you want to go for a dive Mexican restaurant, my family, we call it the Cheese House.
Oh, yeah.
It is El Cazador. It's near Irondale, Alabama, and you can't go wrong with it.
Yeah.
It is a great dive Mexican restaurant. We go, I'd say periodically, but it's more often than
Yeah.
that.
That's a good one.
But regardless, whether it's Cinco de Mayo or just a random day of the week, it's hard to beat margaritas
Yep.
with Mexican cuisine.
Yeah, they'll win every time.
Well, Mary Martin, congrats on your upcoming nuptials. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us on the
Thank
podcast
you.
today. Hopefully you can come back.
Yes,
We'd love to have you back
sure.
on the show.
Yep.
And before we wrap up this podcast, we need to leave you with the discount code STPOD for 35% off at statetraditions.com.
Any item.
Any item. So join us next week for podcast number 6, episode 6. We will see you then.
Hang my hat up high with stars and stripes.